A very good morning, class. Yesterday we began with the central bank and we saw the introduction of central bank. What is a central bank? How does a central bank functions? And what are the basic functions that it performs? So today our topic would be the functions of central bank. It's very important from the examination point of view. The functions of central bank means what are the basic functions or basic thing that a central bank does. So whenever I say central bank, it means Reserve Bank of India only. There might be a confusion that because there is a commercial bank called as central bank even. Okay, but the full name of the central bank is Central Bank of India. Okay, so don't get confused. My central bank here means Reserve Bank of India only. Okay, every country has their own central bank. Same way, even India has its own. The name of that central bank is Reserve Bank of India, which is in Mumbai. I gave you a description. When was it established? What is the Banking Regulation Act? When was the central bank nationalized? All these things were discussed in the first class. So today we are going to talk about the functions of central bank. The very first function of central bank is bank of note issue. Bank of note issue. That means the Reserve Bank of India has the sole right to issue the notes or to print the notes. Printing of notes and minting of coins is under the jurisdiction of the central bank of the country, that is Reserve Bank of India. Now a question might come to your mind that why it is that central bank is only given the right to print the notes? Why not any other commercial banks? They are even banks, they even deal with the financial terminologies of financial dealings. So why are they kept away from the rules or printing or minting of coins? Okay, the reason for it, the very first reason, it says that it brings uniformity in the note circulation. When the notes are to be circulated to the different parts of the country, there should not be any partiality, any differences as such. Okay, uniformity should be there. If rupees 1 lakh rupees is given to state of Jharkhand, that should same be given to state of Bihar. But there is a difference in it. That totally depends upon the money supply, that totally depends upon the population. Okay, so there should not be a difference on the ideal ground that this state is lacking behind, so we'll give it less of fund, we'll release less of funds to this state. So that should not be a distinction point. So it brings uniformity in the note circulation. Second is, it is easier to control money supply when there is single agency of note issue. Money supply means total part of the money that is released from the central bank to the different commercial banks of the country. So if there is one head, if there is one institution which should keep all the records, it would be easier to maintain. Okay, different heads means division of responsibilities. So division of responsibilities sometimes would create a clash, sometimes would create a confusion. So just to avoid the confusion, the central bank keeps the sole power with itself and it exercises as and when required according to the conditions. Third is, it keeps the public faith in the paper currency, the quality of the paper that we are talking about. The notes that you have in your hand is not that the note that you have in Jharkhand will be different compared to one that is in Chandigarh. Okay, so everywhere the quality of the note would be same. Okay, the paper part cannot be differentiated. That is what, and that can only be possible when there is one head who maintains everything. Fourth is, it helps in the stabilization of internal and external value of currency. Internal and external value of currency means that you see that there is always a comparison of Indian rupee or our rupee with the foreign money, that is dollar. We are compared with that $1 is equal to so much rupee. That is valuation of rupee. What is the stability of a rupee in a country? That can only be maintained when it is taken up or when it is held by one organization. So in our case, it is a central bank which decides or which keeps a record of all the dealings, be it what is coming from the foreign country, what is going to foreign country, what is the total income stability of the economy, how the people are earning, and what are the sources of earning. All these records are maintained, and accordingly the decisions are taken by the central bank, what amount to be released, what money supply to be circulated in the economy. Second function, it talks about banker, agent and advisor to the government. Central bank is a banker to the government. Banker to the government means wherever financial dealings are involved with the central and the state government. Okay, there must be a bank which should help to do all the financial transactions. So in case of government organizations, it is the central bank of the country, that is the Reserve Bank, that helps in all the financial dealings of the central government. Okay, because central bank is not involved in public dealings. Central bank does not deal with the public, rather it helps the government in having financial dealing. So this is banker. Agent is whenever a dealing has to be confirmed between two countries, central bank acts as an agent. For example, if Nepal government wants to give a fund to India for the pandemic that we have faced, for the corona situations that have come in our part, in order to stabilize the situation, we require the fund. We require to feed the marginalized sections of the society. For that, fund is required. If an interest-free loan or a loan is given by Nepal government, so that fund will be released from Nepal government to Indian government via the channel of Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India and the Nepal Central Bank will come in contact with each other, and they will have a financial deal. So the Reserve Bank of our country will represent India, and the Central Bank of Nepal will represent Nepal. Okay, so there, wherever the financial dealing will take place, these two banks will come in action. So that is why in this way it acts as the agent over here. The third is advisor. Advisor to the government means it keeps on advising the government on all the financial matters. Wherever finances are involved, the advices are taken from the central bank because the central bank maintains the monetary policy of the country, and monetary policy directly affects the fiscal policy, which are framed by the central government. So monetary policy and the fiscal policy, they go hand in hand. A cooperation between the two is required for the economic growth and development. Next is banker to the banks and supervisor. Central bank is the banker to the bank. Banker to the bank means all the commercial banks that are operating in our country, be it a private bank, be it a Grameen bank, be it a agricultural bank, be it a foreign bank. All the banks are under the criteria of commercial banks. So all these banks look up to or follow the orders of rules and regulations of the central bank of the country, that is Reserve Bank of India. That is why Reserve Bank of India is known as the head bank. Okay, and it frames the rules and regulations, and every bank, every commercial bank is supposed to abide by the rules and regulations that is framed by the Reserve Bank of India. That is why Reserve Bank of India is known as banker to banks. All the banks that is operating in India, it is under the discretionary power of the Reserve Bank of India. Now supervisor means it keeps on supervising, it keeps on looking at every bank whether the transactions are taking place at a right place or not, whether the rules are followed or not, whether the public's dealings are taken in a proper way or not, whether the publics are harassed or they are given every facility or not. All these things are to be supervised by the central bank of the country. For that they have a team, and the powers are distributed accordingly. They visit the bank and they see that everything go in order as per the discretionary power, as per the directions of the central bank of the country. Okay, because the head of the central bank, that is the governor, sits in Mumbai. He cannot go to every bank, a bank that is operating in Maklesliganj. He cannot come here and see whether the things are in right order or not. For that, he has maintained, he has implemented rules and regulations, and that has to be followed by everyone, every bank. So So central bank acts as a banker to the bank in four ways. First is as a custodian of cash reserves. Custodian of cash reserve means all the cash dealings that takes place among the different commercial banks. Those informations are to be provided to the central bank. Like for example, there is a rate called CRR and SLR. CRR stands for cash reserve ratio and SLR stands for statutory liquidity ratio. When you add these both, it becomes LRR, which we have dealt in the last chapter, commercial bank, that is legal reserve requirement or legal reserve ratio. That means whenever a deposit comes to a commercial bank, the commercial bank has to inform to central bank. Okay, it's not that the moment it comes you have to inform. At the end of the day, the commercial bank is supposed to inform to central bank. How it is done? RBI says that whatever deposit comes to you on a day basis, of that deposit you need to send me 4%, that is CRR, cash reserve ratio. 4% of it will be sent to central bank. Okay, when 4% of that amount is sent to central bank, 4% of a rupee is equal to this much, so 100% is equal to this much. So the central bank will automatically calculate, okay, 4% has come to me, that means 100% is this amount by the commercial banks. SLR is statutory liquidity ratio. Statutory liquidity ratio talks about all the liquid assets, means not necessary in the form of cash, but a cash-like structure, be it a gold, debenture, bonds, certificates, shares. Okay, all these are parts of SLR, which again are to be deposited to, which are to be maintained by the commercial bank in their own account. What is the rate at current? It is 19% that every commercial bank is need to maintain with itself. Okay, so that the next day when they start their business, when they start their dealings, they have some cash reserves with them. Okay, because the public can demand at any point of time, because it is their money that the commercial bank have with them. Okay, so it acts as a custodian of cash reserves. Next is as a lender of last resort. Lender of last resort means whenever a commercial bank is in need of fund, whenever a commercial bank requires some fund, the last person whom they can knock or with whom they can ask is central bank of the country. Okay. And last is clearing agent. Whenever there is a dealing between two banks, like for example, State Bank of India has a dealing with Punjab National Bank, means each bank is cooperating each other. Okay, suppose I am a State Bank of India and I want some fund from the Punjab National Bank. I take a loan from the Punjab National Bank, and after some days I wish to return it, but I am not able to return, or I have returned only a partial amount of it. So RBI will come in action over here. RBI will say me, or RBI will send a notice to me, unless and until you don't clear account, this facilities will not be facilitated to you. So RBI acts as a clearing agent over here. The dealings that has taken place between two banks are cleared with the help of Reserve Bank of India. Okay. One more function that I will do, custodian of foreign exchange reserve. Custodian of foreign exchange reserve means all the foreign dealings that take place within the country, be it in the manner of import-export, be it in the manner of gift, be it in the manner of investment, anything that comes from foreign are dealt through via the channel of Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so this is all about, tomorrow we shall deal with the monetary policy of the country, and this is very, very, very important from the examination point of view. Thank you, class.